Okay. Well, hello everyone. And thank you for attending this webinar on the quantum field connection. My name is Josh, and I'm the guy behind Speak Good Human. And we are honored today to have Keri Davis with us to help us understand the quantum field and how we can begin to use it with our animals and in our lives. So today, in a few minutes, Keri is going to get on and give us an overview of the quantum field. Since I don't know too much more about it than maybe everybody else on the call, I'm going to be asking her some of my own questions, and hopefully by the end of that, everybody else will have a better understanding of it as well. And after that, we're going to do a little demonstration of how it works with an actual animal who needs our help. And then we're going to open it up for some questions and answers. So if you haven't figured it out yet, there's a chat in here. On my screen, it's a little chat bubble or speech bubble. And when I click that, you can get into the chat area. And that's going to be on this entire time. If you have a question, then you can ask it in there. And if you want to talk with anybody else during the presentation, you can do it there as well, and it won't disturb anyone. Later on, I'm going to switch to a Q&A mode, and then you'll be able to actually get in line for a question if you need to, or you can ask it with your voice. And I think that we'll do it. Oh, and we'll also have some resources. Should be a section on your screen. I know on Keri's, there's 3 bars on the top left, and that's where you're going to find some resources that I uploaded for this call. And you'll see the animal's picture there and a few other things that we're going to reference. If you can't find it, it's okay. And we'll walk you through it when we get to that point. Anyway, Keri Davis is a certified interspecies life awareness coach, and she's been an animal communicator for more than 20 years. And during that time, she's taken a special interest in quantum physics and the way electromagnetic waves like light work to connect everything in our world. She holds a degree in holistic health sciences, which is also emphasizing quantum physics healing. She is certified in rapid transformational therapy, and she has extensive training in humans understanding nature and animals. It's a program that deals specifically with all of this stuff. And she also has a lot of training in mind mapping, neurofeedback, neuroplasticity, and literally dozens of other energy healing modalities. And for years, she also co-hosted the Sacred Animals Voices radio program and also has been featured on TV, radio, and in books. So Keri has also contributed several Dear Student letters on the Speak Good Human site. So if you haven't read those, head on over there later on, and they're really interesting and helpful. And she also has contributed the recordings that explain the quantum field connection on the page there. So it helps you understand it a little more, attunes you to the energy, and also helps you release your blocks to animal communication. Thank you very much, Keri, for all of your help and contributions, and welcome to the program.
Thank you, Josh. Can everybody hear me?
I don't know that. Linda, are you there? I don't think she's there yet. Mael, you're there though, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. Let us know if you have any trouble hearing anything, or you want any further explanation about anything. Okay, so I'm going to ask you, Keri, a couple of things that I've been interested in, and maybe you can enlighten me. What in the world is this quantum field?
Well, what in the world isn't it? That's really the question. When we really look at what they've termed as the quantum field, which again, that's a human word that we've coined over the decades of not really having any understanding of what this mysterious world was about. When we were dealing with, say, our physical matter, it has very different laws and properties than when we get into that subatomic, very small levels of measurement. So the quantum field you can look at in our minds, per se, is its infinite possibilities, its vibration, energy, frequency, new probabilities, and it's beyond our space and time as we know it here in what I'm going to call our virtual reality, which is what we call Earth School. So this is really the governing body of everything. Everything is connected by this frequency, and in this frequency there is endless information and probabilities. And I will add, it is not from the intellect that we access this. So when you look at the quantum field, just to give you like a little bit of background, when we reduce the matter to the smallest unit of measurement, we get what they call an atom, which vibrates at a very high frequency. And you peel back the atom, we find the nucleus, and that's surrounded by what they term as subatomic particles. For example, protons, neutrons, electrons. They have been a mystery in science for centuries. We never know where electrons will appear or not. It's not until our consciousness is observing it. Once it is measured through our consciousness, it is now experienced, and it collapses into what they call collapsing the wave, which is what you probably have heard many times, is when that collapsing the wave becomes what we say is particle. And to be quite frank, this is all 99.9999% energy. In fact, what we think is physical isn't. We don't actually even touch. There's so much space in what we call this world we live in. It's only 0.01 point matter. So when you look at quantum field, if you think of it in this way, it's like going from the basement and taking it up to the penthouse. You're getting a whole other viewpoint. You're open to new possibilities. You see the world in a new arena. You just see a bird's eye view of life as we think we know it and get a different perspective. Does that make any sense, Josh?
Yes, it makes sense. So are you saying this quantum field, it exists no matter what we think, no matter what we do, but some people are able to use it because they're aware of it and others are not, or are we all just using it anyway?
Well, this is the thing, is whatever we draw our awareness to, put it this way, wherever our energy goes is where our awareness expands, and that's where consciousness sort of is birthed, if you want to call it. So when you look at, say, let me scale it down. So have you heard of the Newtonian model? Like, this is going back to what scientists were teaching us back, a half a century ago. The Newtonian model is that material world, which we're really getting out of now and having much more of an understanding, and it's becoming much more mainstream. But the Newtonian model is made up of people, places, things, duality, experiencing life through our senses. And is there a background noise, or is that me?
I don't know. Let me see. Is that better? Nope.
No.
How about now?
That's better. Thank you.
No, I was just. It was one of the callers' phones. Probably was. I muted everybody for now.
Okay. Anyhow, so going back to, yes, so the Newtonian model, so we're talking duality. We're talking about we experience life through our senses in this realm that we call our physical, which I just said earlier is technically 99.999% energy. But regardless, we experience our lives through getting from point A to B. So if you were to drive from New York to LA, you can calculate with great probability when you will arrive. So we need that space and time to experience this. So imagine trying to experience a box of chocolates or answering your phone or cooking without any senses. It would be pretty hard to receive at this level, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you wouldn't have any reference points.
No, exactly. So that's when we start delving into the quantum field, the immaterial world. And this world is the field of pure potential. It is all time. It's all things. And it's really accessed, if you want to say, this is like limiting in our humanness here, but we're crossing the bridge of what we call the speed of light. And that's what Einstein developed and discovered. And as we enter this all-knowing, full of quantum possibilities, and this deep awareness, it results in oneness, wholeness, unity, resulting in less entropy. And entropy is just decline. It's us dying. So we are here to evolve into more love. That's it. We're here to grow up and become more love. And as we are these beings in this virtual reality, in this physical plane, that again, we have time to get from A to B and experience these moments. But what we're finding and what they are finding is that we're really here at the end of the day with free will. So we are given room to grow. We're not programmed that this is what you can do and this is what you can't. We have this experience of making choice. So what are you choosing? Love, or are you choosing fear? And this isn't an intellectual process. So this is a stumbling block for us humans in our school. We're so busy doing, and it's really, really uncomfortable to truly be. So it's a dance, because as humans, we still have a doing in there. We're dancing between the be and the do. Be, do, be, do. It's like the seasons of life. We have the ebb and flow. We have to plant new seeds, but we can't pull them out until they're ready. So we're addicted to give me more. I need more protocol. I need to figure this out. What am I doing wrong? How do I, yeah. So instead, when you work sort of at this quantum level, what we're doing is we're breaking the addiction of being this body and this mind. We're creating a new awareness, which brings in new information, which allows our energy to expand and to become a transmitter of higher knowing. This is where we can access the archives, if you want to. And so when you get into the quantum field, you're becoming, it's no time, no space, because it's all now. Does that make sense to you?
It makes sense, but I'm trying to relate it to something that I know, which maybe it's because it's such a new concept. Make that connection. For example, a lot of people know what law of attraction is. Is this similar to that? Does law of attraction use the quantum field?
Well, so the law of attraction. So let me ask you this. If you look around in your life, okay, what is your cup full of? So, for example, if you look around in your life, what do you feel is missing? What isn't happening fast enough? Where's the frustration, or I'm not there, I can't get there, I feel rejected, I'm not loved? Like, what shows up when you look at your life? What's the number one theme that comes up repeatedly?
I think for many people, it's just in general, you want what you don't have, which
exactly. And this is what true law of attraction, and you've heard this a lot, whereas we have to be that before we so-called get it. We have to fake it. It's like we are becoming those actors that play those parts, but we can't come from that same place, because then we're living in that Newtonian model. We're trying to change matter with matter, and it doesn't work. It's slow. And then we're dealing with the laws of down here, if you want to call it, that it's like we're in space-time, so we have to do it through this time and space. Whereas when we become into a higher elevation, our energy shifts, we expand, we become more light, we become coherent, we then transmit a whole other frequency. That's what the law of attraction is.
And does it connect through the quantum field?
It's all there. There's no separation. Okay. It's our intention, it's our focus, and it's breaking the addiction of who we think we are. We're all just one big riddled mess of belief systems. So the more we can go, oh, wow, wouldn't have thought of it that way. Perfect. You're making change. You also want to start rewiring, because rewiring the neuroplasticity, we're sending out new chemicals, and those chemicals send out a signal whether we're in love or if we're trying to control with fear. And then we get into a cycle when we're living in that state of fear, then we get into we can't sleep, we can't function, we feel like nothing seems to work, and the harder and harder we try to go and follow the law of attraction. And so it's really a place of letting go, handing it over. It's like those places in your life where you just go, you know what? Like a relationship. When you've tried and tried and tried to get somebody to see your point, to experience what you experience, and you finally say to your partner, I let you go with love. I can't do it anymore. I'm done. That's a lot of times when they come back and say, you know what, I'm ready. It's the same kind of energy. We can't push it. We can't be the old addict, meaning the old thoughts, the old beliefs, the old emotions, and think we're hanging out in the quantum field. Mm-hmm. We're still that matter trying to change matter. So it's like so then there's techniques to help pull that old mind and body up and out and move and activate that pineal gland that signals and releases this activation, the reticular activating system that just is like a beam. It's like a transmitter, a signal that's sending new frequencies. That's what the law of attraction truly is when we're in that flow. But if we're coming with our shovel and our pick and we're trying to dig up what we planted before it's meant, we just keep in that vicious cycle of, see, this stuff doesn't work anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I know that something like telepathic communications with animals, with anybody, it's not quite the same thing as what we're talking about, but it kind of is, because a lot of people come up against these walls when they're trying to do animal communication, because they're trying so hard to make it happen, when really they probably will find better success if they just let go and connect in a more easy way, because that's how it's supposed to work.
Exactly, Josh, and I'm sure everyone on this call can absolutely relate. It's really any area of our life, especially when it's the gray zone. Like I call subtle energies, it's a gray zone because it's so easy to project on and fill in the blanks of what we know. It's part of our experience here. So what I've learned now is like less is more. So typically with telepathic communication, it comes in blocks, and it comes before you even know it. So half the time people are in their little ritual, okay, I better om, or I better do this, or spray the room down, or sit and do la la la. And that's all well and fine, but a lot of times we've missed the communication altogether. So that's been my pet peeve, honestly, is to like less is more. And the thing is once we have an understanding of how consciousness tends to work, then there's that new awareness, which then gives us a choice. So it's like the choice is, do I have to make this complicated? Or can I trust and hand over? And my job is to learn how I can be a clear channel and house this. How do I receive it? So, for example, I have this little thing that I did a few years ago, and like sort of the 4 principles of animal communication, if you want to call it, any form of communication. And that's what I call BARK. So B is believe. So B is what do you believe? So what do you believe? Is it hard? Is it easy? It works here and it doesn't work there. I have to do this ritual to do this, and I have to do that. Do I have to, run around the block first? Do I say, oh, I'm not really in a good place, I can't do it? So it's just really understanding your beliefs. And again, all we have to do is look around our lives, and we can see what our beliefs are. They're playing out around us in every part of our lives. So if your cup is full of tea, you're going to spill tea. If your cup is full of wine, it's going to spill wine. So then there's A, which stands for asking. How do you ask? Do you ask from a place of love and trust, or is it fear and control? As simple as that. And then there's receive. How do you receive feedback? It's all about feedback. If you find that, 100 out of 100, you're not really getting anything, then that's feedback. If you're finding like, okay, yeah, like the probability of, say, like 60 out of 100 have been really great, that's positive feedback. So then we get into the knowing. How do you know? And this is, again, still an extension of feedback, but how does your body communicate? And that's what I love working with people individually, is my passion, because everybody does this differently. And it's not about following anybody's system. It's about what is natural and innate for you. So one other point I want to make in regards to telepathy is that with telepathy, you're connecting to so-called another being in Earth School. It's a different level than, say, taking it to the bird's eye view. So there's different forms of it. So if I'm doing lost animal work, per se, I don't typically connect with the animal because there's not much information. I try to take it from a whole different vantage point, kind of like a bird's eye view. So it's really knowing, too, in our communications, do we ask, or do we listen? Do we talk nonstop and project, or do we allow? So kind of like going up to a stranger in the street and starting to poke and prod and ask a bunch of questions. Some beings are going to tell you to take a hike. And some beings are going to go, oh my God, there's someone to talk to. Yay, someone's listening to me. Yay.
I wish I didn't know that too well.
So does that answer
Yes.
that question?
Yeah, that's great. And related to that, let's move a little closer to what we're doing today. So we're using the quantum field to help another animal in need. So, for example, on the site right now, there are many animals who are looking for their forever home. They need a place that's going to understand them, with people who love them, no matter what, or they're lost and they need to find their way back home, or situations like that. And we're trying to use the quantum field to help these animals because they, I guess, either haven't found a way to help themselves fully and need some help, or maybe this is their path. So I'm wondering, in using this field, we're making intentions about their future, but isn't that still a doing?
Well, and remember I said there's a dance between receiving, but the thing is most of us aren't open to receiving. We're so busy trying to figure it out with our intellect. So this is really where my passion with seeing mind mapping and seeing being quantitated, where you could actually see when somebody enters the field. You can't measure the field ever directly. That's the thing about anything. You can measure the effects the field has on us, and that is when I've seen brain scans completely blow out the system. Sorry, my phone is going. It's going to blow out the system. Sorry, I don't know how to shut this off. Blow out the whole entire system because of the what they call, when we start downloading gamma rays, you are getting such a high frequency, and it's amazing to see. And that's when you'll find people have transformational healing. But remember, everybody has free will, like you said, Josh, and this is a co-creation. This is up to them at whatever soul level. I don't know how to shut my phone off. Here, let me just go unplug this from my wall. Sorry about this, all this electronic stuff. Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. Good old phones. So that's something that you just want to be mindful that we can't make another being heal. All we can do is show up and hold the space and invite them. And it's up to them. And that's one thing I've learned, is that we don't know sometimes at this level of consciousness. We have no clue. And honestly, it's none of our business to start projecting from our limited viewpoint of what the purpose is for him to pick up such and such. Are you there? Hello?
Yes. Hello.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Something muted on me.
Okay.
So we can make an intention, but it may come true or may not. It just depends on that animal's path.
Exactly.
What about why aren't we trying to teach or show the animal the way to do it themselves? If they want out of their situation, are they not aware?
Well, that's the thing, though, is how does it work for you until your soul's ready, when someone tells you, really, well, Josh, you should really just do it this way instead. But your wiring isn't set up for that. So you revert back to the old addiction of being in our patterns that we all have. So breaking the wiring and the patterning of who we become is a process.
Okay.
So it's something that I don't find works really well when we tell another being how to do something, because it's not a doing. So just marinating in this collective group of people, souls coming together, elevating their consciousness and becoming one and having a clear intention with focus and clarity is all our job is. And love leads the way. That's when they will find their way, and that's when things will align for them if they so choose. But it's really like telling someone to quit smoking. It's not good for you. And you might say, well, what about trying this? Don't smoke in the morning. Maybe, do this, do that. That doesn't typically go over real well long term, right?
Right. They have to change it in a different way.
And you have to get to a point. How many people can relate to you? You get to the point in your life and go, I get it now. I didn't get it before. But now you get it at that visceral level. You get that. It's not just an intellect. It's a beingness that you get. Mm-hmm. And there's no way we can rush that. We can't make it happen. So that's the dance, is that all we can do is show up and open that door to love, open our hearts. And what we're doing is, and that's what I like to do, is expand our awareness, open our energy fields up, which is going to vibrate at a different frequency that we are now elevating to a new mind, which allows us to heal.
Okay. So let's get into an actual demonstration. Can you just explain briefly what we're doing with animals right now? And specifically, we have a dog named Toro, who could use our help. How are we helping? Why don't you introduce Toro and explain how we're helping him in his path?
Well, and I really want to add, too, that what happens and what they've found, and anyone on the call that knows Lynn McTaggart's work, and even when I worked at Quantum University, too, she did some work there as well, and so I've seen the effects of what they call the mirror neurons. And so everything that we do, so we might be intending for Toro, but what we're doing is we're receiving exactly what we're intending. So what happens typically is the participants that are intending for somebody or something are the ones that receive a lot of transformation a lot of times. So it's very interesting how that all is entangled, and that's what they call quantum entanglement, which is a term that I see a lot in animal communication work, and everyone can probably agree, is when the human shifts, the animal shifts, and when the animal shifts, the human shifts, and it's that dance again. Would you agree? Would you agree with that statement in your knowledge?
Are you talking specifically, let's say, your own animal and your own family, or?
Yes.
Okay. I can definitely see that entanglement and how the interaction works that way. Definitely, it's mirroring and things like that. But in this case, we don't know who Toro is. How is that working?
Well, and that's the thing. There's your mind. This is a prime example of how we're wired, that, oh, he's not with us. He's not here. I don't know who he is. All we're doing is we're just connecting energetically, and it's just with intention. You can do a bunch of rituals. You can do as many rituals as you like. I'm not here to push any beliefs, religions, anything. This is what works for you. But all I ask is that we are just going to set an intention, a focus, and I'm going to walk you through a few little different options that you can do to elevate ourselves, because that's the job. We got to take ourselves up to the penthouse. Because if we're coming from, again, matter trying to change matter, we're not going to have the same impact as allowing, handing over, and trusting. And our job is just to hold the intention of dear Toro or whoever is in that circle.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes. Let's try to work with Toro for a little here. If you're on the call, I'm going to switch over to a Q&A mode, which if you have questions about the quantum field or what we're doing, if it's important, like you don't understand at all what's going on or what we're doing, then please ask a question. But otherwise, if something comes up, a question comes up in your mind, and it can wait until after we work with Toro a little, we'll definitely get to all the questions after. And in Q&A mode, you're able to get in line, sort of. You click the button on the Q&A, and it'll put you in the queue. And where all that is kind of different for everybody. I'm logged in using the little launcher that they give you, and also online. And some of you guys are also online. But the resources section, perhaps you might find it on your control panel or on the website. There's 3 little bars on the top left, and you'll find something under there called resources. And I've uploaded Toro's page on the Speak Good Human site. You don't have to go there if you can also access the picture that I uploaded of Toro, and it'll be marked Toro. If you can't access any of this stuff through resources, like if you're just calling in by phone, don't worry about it. You can just intend that you are connecting with Toro and helping. But it's kind of useful sometimes to see the dog or the cat or the animal.
And Josh, I'll just add, it doesn't make any difference. It's if you believe it does, then it does.
Okay. Then you're good no matter what.
Yep, you're all good.
But if you do find a section called resources, that's where Toro's picture is. And
is there any?
Go ahead.
Is there any questions so far that people? Because I think it would be a good time to ask any questions. And then, like I said, we can do it at the end as well. But I just wanted to get anyone's comments or thoughts.
Okay, so everybody's in. This is Q&A mode. It automatically mutes everybody. Keri, do you think we should unmute everybody and just have a free-for-all, or do you want?
Yeah, just have a free-for-all because there's not that many of us.
Okay.
We'll see how it works.
If you are connected and you do have a question right now, why don't you introduce yourself quickly, and then you can ask whatever you need to right now. Claire, you have a question?
Yes.
Hi, Claire.
Hello.
Thanks
Hello.
for joining
Can
us.
you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Oh, okay. I thought I had to write.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I just came late. Just a question, just a general question regarding like isonal animal. I live in a place where there are a lot of wild animals, like wild dogs and wild monkeys, and it's just like a question like how Oh, how can I put out that question? Like, how do you deal, like, when you are facing a wild, little bit kind of aggressive and defensive, like, animal? Because first I thought, oh, if I'm keeping quiet and silent, I mean, and if I am really present, it's gonna work. But sometimes the animal is in another mode, and it takes more time, I feel like, for him to actually get the message I'm trying to send. Does it make sense? Question I'm asking.
So I understand this, and great question. So you're trying to ask, is there something else that you could be doing in those situations? Is that your question?
Yeah, I'm just if you can give some kind of like advice or remark on how to be like trying to be present and to be peaceful and to send a kind of like nice message to an animal who is in another mode, like either defensive or into his, dogs have kind of program, like
I totally get it. And I do a lot of work with the shelter animals, so I absolutely get that, the energy. Well, one thing that we all could probably agree on, when we're in fight-flight, we're not designed to have conversations. We're there to survive. So when we go from first gear to fifth gear, there's no sort of negotiating. So we have to allow that being the space. So less is more. So sometimes, with good intent, we can, want to send love or send a message, but it's kind of like adding more furniture into a hoarder's house. It's just stacking up and collecting more dust. The best thing we can do is just to allow the space. So envision just beautiful, high frequency love, and it just allows space for them. And that's when we feel heard and we feel validated, and then our nervous system can calm, which then we rewire, and then we have a different experience. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, it does. It does make sense. But I was just thinking that sometimes maybe the animal needs also some time, for himself to get a little down also, or to get at the same, like to perceive or to receive the love and to be able to send it back. Sometimes it doesn't seem to work so well, and I'm just wondering, I'm just sending all kind of love. I'm just no fear, and I'm sending love, and it doesn't really work. So I'm just wondering whether it is because it needs time or because I'm doing the wrong thing.
No, you're not doing anything wrong. It's time. It's like you can't, when someone tries to hug you when you're not ready, that's someone, you're just not in that, you're not in that space. You're fighting for your life, and someone's like, back off. And you can say things that are really inappropriate, and sometimes you have to apologize after. And you go, I don't know what came over me. But that's the same thing. It's almost like, so even when I say, being love is more how I should have worded it. It's not about sending anything more. It's just expanding your love, and if they want to receive it, it's up to them. But you've changed your frequency. Your language is different, and like what I've talked about before, is it's what they talk about in physics is when we're in phase or out of phase. And when we heal, we create this, what they call coherence. So when you think about a room full of grandfather clocks, and they're all ticking off beat, and you go back a week from now, and they all come into phase. They're now operating in coherence. That's when we're dancing. But we can't force anybody, anything. It's beyond us. That's not happening through us.
Yeah.
So it's perfect what you're doing. Just take the expectations of how long, how short, the hows and whats, and just expand that love just around you. And we'll do a little exercise with that. Do you want to do that today? We'll do that when we tap into the field.
I just wanted to tell you how much I appreciate actually the little audio you did about quantum field exercise, which is actually for me clarifying a lot what I was doing with the help of Dr. Joe.
Oh, nice.
Very nice, because when you said that for a long time you had been actually expecting, like trying to solve matter with matter. And,
yes.
And it's so helpful. Thank you so much for this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And you know what? We're all just doing the best we can. And you know what? I do this every day. I try to push my wares on others. So, we
it's good.
Yes.
Because, you're really helpful. Okay, so yes, I am really yes. If you want, we can do that exercise.
No, I would love to, because I was just leaving it open, so I'm totally going with the flow. So that's great. We'll incorporate that into activating the circle, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Shall we? Does anybody have any other pressing questions? We'll also have some time after. If you don't have any other pressing questions, then we can get right into this activity and see how it all works. Anyone? Okay.
Okay, great.
I wanted to. Okay, there is something about Toro, but maybe we can talk about after.
Yeah, why don't we do that after? Because it'd be fun to I want you to be free and not to hold back anything. If anything comes through, even if it feels crazy, if that's what I want, bring it on. Okay? So we'll do it after.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you, Claire.
I'm gonna mute everybody.
Okay.
So that we don't get any of the feedback. But anybody who wants to ask a question can certainly still get into the Q&A queue and notify me that there is a question, and we'll get to you as soon as we can. You can also do it in chat. So just because you're muted doesn't mean that you don't have a voice.
Thanks, Josh. You're such a good hostess. Where's my coffee or my tea? Anyhow, what I think would be kind of fun, too, is something that I learned in my mind mapping, and I've seen this simple technique, if it's practiced every day, change the way our minds communicate. And when I say minds, really it's like the antenna that's connecting to the field. And that's really, so I'm not even saying the mind as the physical. This is our instrument, like our stereo receiver that we tune in to receive the music we want. It's the same thing. So that's where I'd like to just offer this. Are you good with that?
Yes, good.
Okay, so if everyone just even wants to close their eyes, and there's no right or wrong in my world, and just bring your one hand that's comfortable to you up, say, on your forehead, and just feel your hand going from front to back, going right down to your neck, right in your occipital bone where we hold so much tension. And just go back and forth a couple times, receiving some breaths, releasing anything that needs to go. And then when you're ready, we're going to shift to the sides. So from your temporal lobe, so your ear to ear, going back and forth, back and forth. And now from a diagonal, say from your one side of your eye up over to the opposite side, down to your neck. And going back and forth. And you switch when you're ready to the other side. And I know I've made this quick. You can do this obviously longer at home. But the intention of this, what was happening is when we break down and become what we've talked about 100 times, matter becoming matter, and we want to shift to more energy, this is what breaks down, is our communication from left to right, right to left, from front to back, and back to front. So what we're doing is we're activating what they call the corpus callosum, which is the link that communicates both sides. So when we become imbalanced, we shut down communication. So that activity alone, with your hand moving back and forth, you've lowered your brain waves. If you can imagine, even on a mind map, QEEG, you'll see the brain turning green, which is ideal because that is a healthy brain that is not in fight flight. That is a brain that is now able to receive. Does that make sense to you, Josh?
Yes.
Okay. How did you feel just by, I know I rushed it, just by even setting that intention?
Well, for me, it would be a matter of faith. I didn't necessarily feel anything, but I was listening to what you said was supposed to be happening, and I assumed and had faith that it was happening that way, and my brain was getting into the right space for that.
Great. And it just shows you once we have the awareness, then our consciousness changes. So that alone, it may seem very basic, very powerful. The other thing that you can do is, and I learned this through this as well, but Psych K, for people that know Psych K, is even as simple as if you're really finding yourself stressed or you're going into, oh, this isn't going to work and I can't do this, then you can, I don't know if something's going on with this. Is that your phone, Josh, or mine?
Do you still hear it?
I hear it, yeah.
Yeah, it's mine. I can't either find the mute on it.
That's okay. So if you take, say, your left hand and your right hand, hold it out in front and cross them. So you're just going to tap on your shoulders, but you're going to be cross. And you're just going to switch sides. So you're going to just, whatever hand's on top, you're going to just switch to the bottom. And you just tap. You just tap, you tap, you tap. You can even cross your legs both ways. And you can set an intention while you do this. Like, I am perfect. I am, whatever it is that is right for you. So it's just crossing over your body parts are going to do the rewiring for you as well. And you can do that even driving a car if you had to. Well, maybe not. Maybe do it with your feet. Maybe not do that either. Take that back. So that's like another technique that's simple, that you don't have to spend a year in Tibet. Any questions so far with that?
Not from me.
Okay. So with Dear Toro, I, first of all, would love for everybody, and if you need a visual, Josh was kind enough in the resource section to have a picture both of Toro, and also he downloaded a circle, like a quantum field representation in the photo section. So my intention of that is we're all going to build a symbol that represents this field that all of us are building together. This is our co-creation, and we're coming together, and my intention is to come from love, expansion, and to be the best channel I can of love and light in healing for all. So this is what I'm going to invite everybody to do, is to envision a circle. Even if you have a pen right now, feel free to get one. And if not, you can listen to the recording and do this. And just draw a complete circle. And around that circle, leave a little bit of space. And you're going to draw a little squiggly circle that's all around that. And then repeat that. So another little space, squiggly circle all around that. So what it's going to look like, the main circle with 2 squiggly circles with space. Now, the focus is the space around the circle. That would be representing the quantum field of all possibilities and what we already talked about earlier, of healing, oneness, wholeness, la la la. So our job is to expand our awareness into this space around the space. We're no longer focusing on just Keri or Claire or Josh. So make sense so far, Josh?
Yes.
Okay, just tell me if I'm rambling here, and it's always hard on audio things. So now I'm really would like to invite everybody to envision what this circle represents. So even if you close your eyes and just receive a couple breaths, bring in love and release fear. Bring in more love and release all the fear and doubt and all the old program. And maybe just have a quick scan of your body. How do you feel? No right or wrong. Just notice where you feel restricted, where you might have not such a great sensation, or maybe you feel great. Just notice it. Anything that is not to your pleasure or liking, just bring it in front of you and blink, 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 and in an instant, it will be gone. And if there's any residue, command it to leave your field, and it will be transmitted into love and the highest frequency of light and laughter, I'm going to add. We take this stuff far too seriously. I call it the fun bubble. So just receive another breath, releasing, letting go, and just allowing yourself to come up with a symbol for the middle of this circle. Mine is just a big heart with a bunch of stick figures around holding hands. Yours could be anything, but I invite it to be simple. And when you're ready, envision that, write it in your circle. And some people like to use it, place this symbol on their heart. Even physically, they might cut something out, have a visual or an essence or a stone, or just your intent. So we'll use our intent today. And I'm going to envision mine, which is this field with the heart and all of us around coming together with love and support. And we're growing, we're evolving. We're growing up. We're becoming more love, less entropy. Now envision this frequency, this symbol expanding over top of your heart center. And it's going to expand, 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 pushing out through your so-called skin that we think we have. Expanding past what we call our physical. Notice the space around your left hand, around your fingers. Notice the sensations. Notice what it's like just to take your awareness outside and look in. Expanding, expanding from there. more light, more information, higher frequency of energy, and ultimately healing. Expand as far as you can. It might go further, it might leave your house. There's no limit. Just receive a breath. Release anything, any residue, any beliefs that are coming up, getting in your way. They're just information and feedback. Thanks for sharing. Just feel from top to bottom, back to front. You're like this ball of light. And all of us are joining in to this circle of light. All our bubbles are coming together. And we are connecting as one. We are no one, nothing. We are just light with an open heart. And when you're ready, I'm going to assume you are. And don't worry if it feels like I'm going quickly. It's all perfect. I want you to envision a beautiful spirit named Toro. Toro is a dog that I've met at the SPCA that I work with in Canmore, Alberta. And he was found in a ditch dying with broken body parts in Mexico. And one of the locals here decided they've seen his light, they've seen his spirit, and they decided to take him to the vet and get the broken bones fixed up. They flew him back here, and we have him. And it turns out that he has a lot more complications than what was expected. But what they have decided to do, because of his spirit and his light and what an amazing being he is, they are now doing chemotherapy. It is a cancer that is highly treatable. So they've decided to go ahead. So he has a process right now. So if we can just even surround him with what you feel your intention is. We're not going to suffocate him, push our beliefs, tell him what he should do, how he should be. It's like going for a coffee with your best friend. We're just there to deep listen and love them in this time. So we're just setting the intention. We're all connected. We are one when we enter the field. And just envision dear Toro in front of you. And if you don't see him, that's okay. Just your intention and focus is all you need. You may smell him. You may hear him. You may just have that knowing, that awareness of his presence. I'll just allow you to be with dear Toro for a couple moments, and then I will come back. And if there's any mind wandering, any chatter, just love it. Just witness it. And now we're going to draw our attention to something I'm guided to bring in. And this is up to you if you feel guided to do this for your own innate self. Is to envision a high-powered frequency of love and light. It's the whitest white that you've ever seen. And it's the purest of pure. And this vibration, this purity is just surrounding Toro. And if he wishes to receive it, it's his free will, but I feel he's open to receive. And just allow this white light to surround him from top to bottom, bottom to top. And all our intentions are bringing this incredible white light that is already healed. In this reality, we see Toro as healed. He's not injured. He's not weak. He's whole. He's happy. His spirit is so strong. Feel the effects this white light even has on you. We are 100 trillion cells. We are a community within our own skin. Our community is joining forces right now as we speak underneath our so-called skin. There's no separation. We're being called to join, to work together as one. And what will be kind of fun is that we're going to allow Toro to stay in his healing space. His innate self already knows how long, how short. It's up to him to make the choice if he needs to leave. But our intention and our love is there. It's there for him as you and I go on about our day. And what's something that I'd love to share is that we can, even for a moment, if we're even having a break at work, just to tap into that light and check in and go, hi, I'm here with love. And instantly we will transmute into this energy. We don't have to work at it. We'll be there. That's what they call non-local. There's no over there. It's now. It's here. So when you're ready, we're going to allow our consciousness, our awareness to come back into this new level of consciousness and of an open heart. And Josh, you let me know when you feel it's good to go.
Any time, it's fine.
How does that feel, Josh, since you're the one speaking right now?
Yeah, that's a great introduction to this. Just taking us through this whole process of how it might work with an animal, any animal, and so we can use this for anything with people,
you got it.
Animals, and I love how you brought in how we can just reserve the space, create it, reserve it, let it go, and invite whoever we're trying to help into it for as long as they want. And we can just check back in. We don't have to be in this meditative state the entire time. We can do it for, what would you suggest?
Well, even if I was honestly having a water break, I can just go, Toro, connect in. So understanding that what we've done is we've set up, it's kind of like a filing system in our noggin here. So there's a file now that has got this healing vortex, quantum field, whatever we want to call it, Toro. And instantly, because we got into this energy, we immersed ourselves, we put it through as many senses as possible. Now that's in our filing cabinet. So all we have to do is go to that icon that we made at the beginning, and we're there. So you might even put the icon or that symbol in your coat pocket, and you may just touch it. You may be at a meeting and you're just touching it and go, Toro, love, openness, and instantly you're transcended into the field.
So if we were doing this, let's say, with 5 different animals or more, whatever, how would that work?
Well, I would recommend one at a time, and that's kind of where, the quantum field on the site, I mean, we were just doing the best we could to just explore this. Mm-hmm. But ideally, what I would like to see is there's like a focus, and it's like every day you just check in, you set that intent, it's like a daily thing, and it could be, I want it to be realistic. It could be a minute, or for people that have time to really delve in and spend more time, that's great. But I just want to really make clear there's no right or wrong. It's our intention and our clarity and focus. That's it. It's a belief away. We can do it sitting on the toilet.
But what if we do want to help more than just the one animal? Is there any way, can we do that?
Yeah, we can. I would suggest right now do them separately, so to make another symbol.
Okay.
For that animal and their needs, because then you start getting into that quantum soup I was talking about. There's a lot of entanglement, and I think for this purpose, the whole idea is that we're showing up for you, and we're listening, and we're not projecting our crap onto you, and we're respecting you as an innate being. My job is just to kind of show up the best I can with my open heart.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes. Does anybody have any questions? You're all muted right now, but if you can find the Q&A and you want to ask a question, you should be able to show up there, and then I can unmute you so that you could talk. If you aren't on the computer and you're just calling in, my instructions here on the screen say that you can dial *6 and you'll get placed into the queue.
Please share, like even if it's just what you experienced or had any insights.
Is it working?
Yeah. Hi, Claire.
Can you hear? Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to share this thing. It like this great. It was so beautiful, huh? And so intense, and then I get the feeling that this love and light was bouncing back. I felt it like right in the face, and it was so strong. So I started like kind of crying. I don't know. I felt it was very powerful, like he was not only receiving, but he was just like, wow, sending back. It was so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Oh, beautiful.
Really strong. Wow. I was touched.
Oh, that's wonderful, Claire. Thank you for sharing. That's what it's about. And it's hard to put into words, isn't it? It's not about the words.
Yeah, I thought in audio it's going to be difficult, but actually it works. Whatever you are using, like intention is very strong, so it works.
Well, now you know that you can kick butt with this, so that's
Great.
wonderful. Thank you so much, Claire, for showing up and being part of this.
Thank you.
It looks like Robin. Robin, you have a question?
No, I made a mistake.
You're just messing around. Okay.
No,
well,
Robin.
Sorry.
No, Robin, you have a question. There's no mistakes.
I don't know where to put my question at.
You can ask it right now. We're all listening.
You mean you could hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Oh my God. Okay. This is my first time, so
Share.
I just wanted to say that I did start tearing up when I didn't have a picture of him, but I imagined the white light around him, and I told him that I said, "You are loved, and God loves you," and I felt he was teaching us. I felt he was teaching us.
Beautiful. I actually have tears in my eyes just listening to your energy.
Oh, I because I had tears in my eyes too.
Oh, that I know. It's so, isn't it? It's like we're finally past the words and figuring out.
Yes.
It's not, and it's so hard to teach that because you can't.
Right.
You get it when you get it, and we get little snippets, and we know, oh, cool, that's feedback.
Yes, and a lot of times when it's love they're projecting, I tear up because it's so emotional. It's like comes from God, and you can't explain it, or
Nope.
You just well up. Your tears, they just come out because it's so pure. The love is so pure.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. And that's, right. Quantum world or field, God, Buddha, it really depends on what we're comfortable to call it.
Yes.
Thank you, Robin. I really appreciate you sharing. See, there was no accidents.
Thank you. I just started clicking icons. I didn't know.
Yeah, you sound like me. Is there anything else you want to share, Robin, while you're on? Any feedback?
I'm just so happy you guys are doing this. I missed the first hour, but I'm going to go back and listen to it all. I just thank you from the bottom of my heart for this, because I'm still learning too.
Well, we all are.
Yeah.
We all are, and you know what? That's the thing is, that was my intention. It's just love, and it's time for us to get together, and it's just time.
Yeah.
It's time, and that's what my guidance has really been yanking at me about.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Many blessings.
Oh, you too.
Anyone else have any questions? Otherwise, we'll start to wrap things up and figure out what the next step is. But anyone else have any questions while we're here? I'm going to unmute everybody just in case. Anybody else have any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I wanted to just share.
Sure.
This is Valerie. I came on late, too.
Okay, no problem.
I got the wrong time, and I was busy with my mom and stuff. So anyway, I did the sending to Toro, and I didn't know what he looked like, but I looked at his picture after, and he was just exactly what I saw. And
nice.
And I felt that too. What she just said about he said to me he's a teacher. He's teaching.
He is.
So I got that. Yeah, I got that too. Really strong. I mean, he just came right out with it. So it was just. I just wanted to share that too because she had said that. Robin had said that. So.
Oh, that's
great.
That. And that's what I say about feedback. That's when you know, you go, you know what? This isn't random. This is
right.
This is communication.
Right. So I want to thank you too because I've done the Lynn McTaggart intentions I got into that about a year ago, and I try to keep up with it, but I don't always get to. But I do when I can, and it's just an amazing experience. You just kind of feel different after you do the intention.
You do.
You feel uplifted.
You do. It just takes away all our, silliness that we get into as these human virtual realities that we think we live in.
Right. So I really appreciate that you're doing this with animals. Why didn't I think of that?
Well, it's something that's been eating at me for a long time. That's probably a bad terminology, but it's been something I've been wanting to do, but I hate computer work, so that's my big thing. And I have such a block on how do I put this stuff into words? So that's why I'm putting it out like a bulletin board hasn't felt right in my soul. So that just when Josh and I connected, and it's like, Josh, it's time. We'll figure it out as we go.
Right. Well, good for both of you. I really appreciate it, and really grateful that I've, been, aware of Josh's page and, done some readings on there, and I just appreciate that, that way of doing it is available to us, because it's not always other places to go. And that's a very comfortable place to do it, to do the readings and practice.
Well, you know what I
appreciate
love?
That
Sorry, it cuts out sometimes. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate that you've gotten involved too. So just thank you.
You're so welcome. And one thing I feel, and I don't know how this is going to look, but I really feel like it would be great for people to connect on an ongoing basis and sort of evolve, the field and intention of this for our being. So I don't know how it's going to look, but I'm open if you want to email me some suggestions, or I don't know how you want to leave that, Josh. I don't know what's the best way to communicate. That's not my thing. But if you want to reach out, even through my business Sacred Kinship, there should be an email that's on there. And you can always reach out that way as well. Maybe I'd like to see people come together more and more.
Yes, I agree completely.
Yeah, I think maybe, Keri, we can talk more, and I can put the word out in case people are interested. We can maybe get people involved, but possibly even just creating a Facebook group just for this, so that we can post things in there and keep the group private and small, or however many people are who like to be involved. But at least it'll be a little private group that people can interact there.
Okay, and it's not technology.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else, Keri, that you think we should know before we click off?
I have something that keeps popping up, and it might be inappropriate now, but I'm going to share it. So I have a question for everybody. What do you think has a better chance or probability of healing? Something of certainty or of uncertainty?
Could you say that again?
So what do you think has a better probability of healing? Something like, say, for example, someone came in, they're diagnosed with cancer, and it's a very rare cancer, and the doctor's giving them the prognosis of you're going to be gone in 6 months. And so you've got say, something that's a lot of certainty when you look at our virtual reality, versus high probability would be uncertainty. What do you think has a better chance of healing and transcending the disease? What would you say, Josh?
Is the second option that you described, are you saying that we don't know the details? Somebody didn't say, so you have 6 months to live?
You got it. Yeah, okay. There's just a lot of uncertainty, meaning, there's no one's put a bunch of stuff into it. It's just an open slate.
Well, that's the one that I would say would be the best one, because nobody's putting any limits. You're creating your path forward rather than somebody else saying, here's what's going to happen.
You got it. So this is what's happening out in our world. Is so we have people like you and I and this group coming together intending, and then we've got other people that are intending the opposite. So we're always got that push-pull. We've got that, like it's a dance between certainty and uncertainty. So the more we can detach, and this is what I always talk about, even Josh and I do, about letting go of figuring it all out. Because what that equals, the more we try to figure it out, the more we are making it certain. The more we make it certain, then we're just creating from matter.
Oh, okay.
So the more we can become uncertain, and so it's almost like I don't have a clue, but I am going to make that conscious choice to hand it over to a higher knowing. And my job is to receive, if there's something I need to receive or do or be. But mainly, I just have to keep the coherence. So like those little exercises with the brain, back and forth, tapping across, even those little techniques will help create coherence back again in our field, which then helps us connect to that higher knowing. So there's a zillion more I can teach, but that's just something easy to do.
Wow.
I'm sorry, did I lose somebody?
No, I think
No.
There was just some static.
Oh, okay. Anyways, I just wanted to throw that in. It's just food for thought for the end of the call.
I agree with Josh on that completely.
Yeah.
Great.
Uncertainty is definitely the way to go.
You got it. So next time we end up saying, geez, how do I figure this out, and what should I do, and how can I make it better, and how can I make them feel better? Remember, you're going into that certainty.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's what I find is a huge stumbling block for people in animal communication, because if they see what other people have had a conversation about with this particular animal, or this person got this from them, and this person heard this or felt this or experienced this, there's an expectation. Well, they got it, so I should be getting something similar or the same, and then we shut down because we think, oh, we're not getting it, I'm not doing it right, and it's this whole process that just destroys everything that you could possibly try to do.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, I agree.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and the one other thing, too, is that if anyone is interested in developing further for your uniqueness and not generalizing, because I don't do that, it's really not my path, just reach out to me as well, because that's really what lights my fire, is really seeing you take your power back and connecting in the way that's right for you in your innate self.
Wow, thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Really appreciate that.
Thank you, everybody, for showing up. I'm sorry we had a few glitches at the beginning, but that's not uncommon in my world.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
We're lucky.
Mine either.
I'll try to post this recording so you can listen to it again anytime, and I'll also be in touch just with whatever we plan, whether it's a Facebook group or whatever the next step is. If you're interested, feel free to join us, but I'll let you know. And thanks you guys.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you all for coming. And
thank you.
Thank you.
Keri,
Thank you.
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Thank you, Josh. It's like this really wonderful. So much work and so interesting and fascinating and full of surprises. It's really beautiful.
Thank you, everybody. And also for anyone.
Thank you, Keri.
Thank you. For anybody that joins this recording, they can just tap into Toro's energy like it's in this time and space. So there's no issues because it's recorded.
If you haven't been here during the live recording, you can still join in exactly the same way.
Okay.
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 Well, have a great day, everybody.
Yeah.
You too.
Many blessings.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Josh.
Goodbye.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Keri. Thanks, everybody.
All righty. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.